I'm Steve Hauser with the National Fireworks Association. What you just saw was a public service announcement between the National Fireworks Association and the CPSC. Now what we're going to talk about is the detailed showing of the safety points that we discussed. This is going to include following all local laws and ordinances, having a designated adult shooter or supervisor, always blocking and bracing your fireworks, placing your fireworks on hard, level ground, reading the instructions very thoroughly, buy only from reputable dealers, and we'll talk about what we mean by that in a little more detail later, bucket of water and a hose, which we have a bucket of water and a hose right here, safety glasses, any kind of prescription eyewear will suffice, but if you don't have to wear eyeglasses, make sure you have a pair of safety glasses. Wear cotton clothing, it won't create any kind of static, and never try to relight a dud firework or a non-functioning device. I'm here in the backyard of Aaron Garman, who is owner of Military Fireworks and NFA member here in Joplin, Missouri. So we're real happy to be here with Aaron, and we appreciate his letting us use his backyard to demonstrate these things for you. As we gear up for the summer 4th of July, we just want to make this video a part of your plans so that you can have a safe and happy holiday. Okay, the first thing we want to demonstrate for you is with fireworks, even though you're on hard level ground or here in a backyard, especially on grass, we want to block and brace your fireworks. This is an added level of safety which should make sure that you have the best experience possible. So here's what we mean. Cinder blocks or bricks are wonderful devices for this. They're heavy, they're solid, they won't move, and they aren't flammable. I prefer cinder blocks, and you can use them for tall cakes or short cakes, virtually anything. So the first thing I want to show you is with a cake and a cinder block, you always want to use the flat side of the cake to wedge between the blocks. Now for demonstration purposes, I have a fan-shaped cake here. So this cake is going to fire this way and this way. So clearly the incorrect way to do this would be to position it between the cinder blocks as such. The reason this is not right is because as these come out at an angle, they can hit this cinder block and ricochet, and that could potentially lead to injuries or fires where you don't want them. So the proper way to do this item is to take the cinder blocks and align them along the flat sides of the cake. Now, as it fires, it has an unimpeded angle to escape. The cinder blocks are going to hold the device steady, making sure that there's no tip over or anything like that. So that's what I want you to think of when you have these fan-shaped cakes. And they come in a variety of different styles and sizes. Some are small and short, some are big and flat and tall. But it's always a good idea to block and brace any firework regardless of its size. Now, moving away from the fan cakes, we're going to demonstrate how to block and brace, say, a small cake like this. Okay, now this is one where you could actually use bricks or some other smaller masonry device, but the cinder blocks work just fine for this. So for visual purposes, I'm going to turn the blocks and we're going to set the cake right in here like this. Now, when you light the device, this is a straight shot, so it's going to come straight up. But what these blocks are going to do is prevent it from tipping over. Now, in the particular case of this item, an extra measure of safety if you have smaller bricks would be to kind of angle and then maybe put something here. You're protecting the cake from all angles for tipping. And as they fire, sometimes they can move around. We always recommend that you shoot your fireworks on hard level ground. And hard level ground could be the center of a street, but not necessarily the side of the street where the curb is, because the street is sloped and then you're actually placing the cake at an angle. So when we say hard level ground, we mean hard level ground. Now, artillery shells are also something we can block and brace with the cinder block. The tubes on all artillery kits have this base around them. That's designed to set it on the ground. The best measure of safety for these, and the only thing that we here at the National Fireworks Association recommend, is that take the cinder block and you have your tube, and then you can set the block down over the tube onto the base of the tube. Now that tube is not going anywhere. And for devices like this, safety is very, very important. These are typically the most popular devices in the consumer fireworks realm, and they are individually pretty powerful. So please use them with caution and please respect them. They are fireworks, they're fun, but they can be dangerous if misused. Now that we've covered the basics of blocking and bracing, we also want to go over another recommended method for shooting things like Roman candles, or stick rockets as we call them, or even sparklers. Okay? So for that, you always want to have a bucket of sand. That is a great tool to make sure that everything's stable. Here is a typical Roman candle. Okay, this is a small one. And one thing I want to point out here, and a lot of people ask, can we hold these in our hands? Absolutely not. Never hold fireworks in your hands. The only device that's designed to be held in your hand is a traditional sparkler. But with a Roman candle, do not hold it in your hand. It's not recommended at all and is unsafe. So with this device, you can take it with your sand and you can kind of wedge it in. And now you're safe to shoot it. This will keep it steady, and if there's any problems, you have the sand barrier. This is highly recommended. If you're going to shoot it in any other way, at least make sure it's blocked or braced or propped up. But again, never hold them in your hand. For rockets, there are a lot of manufacturers that have these type of products out there. This one is also from an NFA member. This device is designed specifically for rockets. So we can set that in our bag of sand. And when you have these little rocket devices, something like this here in Missouri, we call a bottle rocket. These aren't legal in a lot of states. So this goes back to this point. Follow your local laws and ordinances. Make sure that the devices that you have possession of and are shooting at your event are legal in the local area. So the design of this product has a little fuse guide here. So the idea is that this guy sits kind of right here, and now there's the fuse port. Okay, now another method is to kind of scooch this down in and stick the fuse out. When the fuse burns, the rocket will drop down into the tube, but when the engine of the rocket ignites, it will shoot it up into the air. Very safe device, very highly recommended. Now this is a larger rocket right here, and one thing I want to point out is you'll see the paper here actually comes down close to the end of the fuse. Go ahead and tear that paper back to get that fuse really exposed, because you want to light it at the end and light it easily. So now you can take this rocket and do the exact same thing into the tube. And that's just a very safe way to shoot your rocket devices. Never hold these in your hand. No fireworks should ever be held. Okay, now another device I'd like to talk to you about is a new industry advancement called the Cool Spark Sparkler. Now you are all familiar with sparklers such as the bamboo stick or the metal rod sparklers, which have been around for a very long time. This particular device emits cool sparks, meaning they're cool to the touch. They have no residual heat effect, and at the completion of the device's life, it will come down to about here. It self-absorbs itself, it dissolves itself and consumes itself all the way, so that the only thing that's left over is a little white stick at the end that is just inert compound. It has no residual heat. Once it's complete, you'll see me demonstrate how you can literally just rub your thumb over it and put it in your pocket. But this is just another innovation that members of the NFA are using to make your fireworks experience more satisfying, safer, and better for all of us. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this here. Okay, so now once it starts, this is what I'm talking about, the cool sparks. There is no heat effect from this. Now down here at the very, very bottom, where the action is taking place, as far as the pyrotechnic device, it is hot. But these sparks are very, very cool. There's no heat at all. It won't singe your hands. It won't singe the hair. Never point them at people, but we just want you to see how the NFA and its members are working to provide better and safer products to the market. So while that finishes, I'm just going to set it there in the sand. This is a perfect thing to do with sparklers as well. If you don't want to hold them yourself, you can always use your bucket of sand. Okay, it's done. There's no heat. You can take this at this point and you can just slip it in your pocket. So no muss, no fuss, no hot wires to step on or anything like that. If you prefer wire sparklers, your bucket of water is a very handy device. After you're done with your sparkler stick, just drop it in the water. It'll cool it off and it'll keep children from stepping on them with maybe bare feet. In addition to the Cool Spark sparklers, other manufacturers of products in this country are developing home-based electronic firing systems. So a number of those are becoming available. They're simple to use, and that's using technology to better your experience. Most of them run off of mobile phone apps through your phone or other electronic device. So look for those at your retail stands as well. Okay, now let's move into warning labels because this is critically important. One of the topics we covered in the PSA was regarding professional fireworks or buying fireworks from reputable dealers or buying fireworks that had the mandated CPSC, Consumer Product Safety Commission warnings on the labels. So this is what we're talking about. These warnings here, which are on all fireworks by law, are giving you the instructions how to use it. Okay? On labels like this that are brightly colored and packaged, you're going to see company logos. You're going to see company websites. These are indicators that this is a true and legal consumer firework. We did talk about brown labeling. What we mean by anonymous brown labeling is it is absent of any of these warnings. It is truly just brown paper. Those are devices to stay away from. Those are typically professional fireworks or could be homemade fireworks. We would never recommend purchasing any of those, and any reputable dealer would never carry them. So when you're shopping for your fireworks, be sure to look for the labels bearing these warnings. And there are some products out there that have a brown paper look, but you will clearly see all these warnings on them. Those are fine. What we're talking about with anonymous brown packaging is literally wrapped in brown paper with no conspicuous warnings of any type. And again, there won't be websites on these devices, there won't be logos. If you see company logos and you see company websites and you see warnings, you can rest assured that that is a legal consumer firework. So at this point, Aaron and I are going to do some fireworks demonstrations. So we're going to reposition ourselves a little bit, because one thing we also talked about in our PSA was making sure that you take care to observe your overhead surroundings so that when you launch your fireworks, you're staying away from trees, power lines, or buildings. Okay, so we're actually going to live fire this device for you. We're going to demonstrate the blocking and bracing. We're going to remove the fuse cover to expose the fuse, and we're going to make sure we get it all out, because what we want to do is light it here on the end so that we have plenty of time to get away. You don't want to light a fuse in the middle. It's designed so that by lighting it here, it gives you about 5 to 7 seconds to get away from the device, which we always recommend. Okay, Aaron, it's your abode. If you would do the honors. Now we're going to walk away. And there we go. That is how you safely shoot a firework in your backyard. Now you'll notice when Aaron lit the device, he kept himself low and away from the device. You want to make sure that you're not putting any part of your body over any part of the device. You could tell from watching it fire that they come out of there with a lot of force, and you don't want that to hit you or a member of your family or any of your friends as well. So make sure you never have any body part or anything over an actual firework device when you're lighting it. Okay, now one thing I want to point out is one of our safety rules is to shoot this off hard level ground. Well, we're here in Aaron's backyard, and he doesn't have it paved, which is just fine, because as you've seen with our blocking and bracing technique, and by choosing a flat level section in the yard, which the grass has been cut down on and is very manageable, we have been able to safely discharge the firework. The blocking and bracing, level ground in the backyard, closely mowed, will help you get through your 4th of July in a safe fashion. Thank you for watching our safety video. We here at the NFA would like to take one last opportunity to remind you of our key safety points. Number 1, follow all your local laws and ordinances. That will make sure that your family celebration goes uninterrupted by the authorities. Have a designated adult shooter and supervisor for your fireworks. Alcohol and fireworks do not mix, and we don't want to see anybody get injured. Always block and brace the fireworks. This is a personal favorite of mine, and I make sure that anything that my children have ever shot off has always been blocked and braced. Place your fireworks on hard level ground. We discussed what we mean by level ground, so please understand that level is level. Streets can curve. Read the instructions thoroughly on the device. They're there for your safety. Top over here, buy only from reputable dealers. They are the ones that are going to be carrying the devices that bear the warning labels that we discussed at length earlier. Always have a bucket of water and a hose nearby. Sometimes things happen. You just want to be prepared. Safety glasses, a must. Always make sure that you're wearing them. Cotton clothing, you want to stay away from polyesters or anything like that because sparks can cause those fabrics to melt. Cotton clothing is your best solution. Never try to relight a dud firework. If the device that you have does not work, leave it alone. Don't try to doctor it, don't try to fix it. There could be embers burning inside the device, and by shaking it, it could ignite and go off. Our best recommendation is to let it cool down for a period of about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you can soak it thoroughly with your hose, and then leave it there overnight. Another last point, and this happens a lot, is when people will gather their fireworks at night after they've shot them, they will put them in their trash can. And then sometimes they put that trash can next to their house. Embers in the devices can last for a long time. Please do not do this. It has resulted in many, many house fires over the last few decades. We don't want to see anybody have any problems. So respect the fireworks, enjoy the 4th of July. And Aaron, thank you very much for being a wonderful host. Have a great 4th of July, America.